And welcome to the Bloated Chef. Chef Jerome here, an actual living, breathing chef, and I'm bloated. Before we get started with today's entertaining and fabulous tutorial, please look me up on YouTube. Smash that like button, crush that subscribe button, very important. Share with the world, leave a comment, leave a hashtag. Please keep your hands inside the ride at all times, and we thank you. And welcome back to the big board, and on that big board at the Bloated Chef, it's all about sausage and the swine. There's some sweet Italian and some Gnocchi Calabrian sausage. We've got potatoes, peppers, two kinds. Are you kidding? No. There's some heavy cream. There's some sour cream, garlic, seasonings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sausage fest two ways. So as usual, we take care of our maintenance first, which includes fresh minced garlic, half of one red onion. Speaking of red bell peppers. Man, I can't stand green bell peppers. Gives me gas and indigestion. Alright, here comes a whole mess of fresh basil. Gonna mince that nice and fine. We're gonna add a poblano pepper. So we got a little bit of Italy with a dash of Mexico. Behind us on the stovetop, we've got water, which we will liberally salt. And by liberally, I mean heavily. In goes our ziti on the boil. We're going to go ahead and cook that to just before al dente. When it comes to boil, stir it once and shut it off, folks. Wait 6 minutes. Perfect pasta every time. We pull it. In goes those potatoes, which we've peeled. 6 small ones or 4 large ones. Let's put this filling together. In goes our vegetable mirepoix, red onion, poblano peppers, red peppers. As usual, we will salt at every level. There goes our black pepper. Here comes our kosher salt. And right behind that, we've got our beautiful fresh minced garlic, or chopped, whatever you want to call it, but stir it around, perfume it for about 2-3 minutes. We will add about a tablespoon of dried oregano, and in goes that beautiful sweet Italian and Gnocchi sausage. Calabrian chilies ground up with Italian sausage. Beautiful, undescribably delicious. Alright, in goes some of our basil. We've got green onions on hand. Let's incorporate them as well. And we'll pull that and let that cool. And as our stuffing is cooling, time to make our wet mix. There goes our ricotta cheese. It's about a quart. Here comes about a half a cup of heavy cream. Right, in goes 2 eggs to help bind. It's very important, otherwise everything just kind of falls apart. Here comes our seasonings, heavy on the fresh cracked pepper, and a nice dusting of kosher salt seasoned at every level. There goes our green onions. Boom. Here we go. Quick whip, quick whisk. Get into a nice smooth consistency. There we go. Let's take the next step. Moving right along. I've got some leftover basil, some leftover green onions. Throw them in there just for the heck of it. Here goes our pasta that's been cooled but not cold. Right after that, we've got our chilled but not cold mix. All of this being warm is going to absorb, especially the pasta. Watch this. And just for the heck of it, a cup of our universal red sauce, marinara, pizza sauce, whatever you want to call it. We are almost there, folks. Time to make the donuts. Our last step. Here we go. There goes about a cup of fresh grated Parmesan cheese. And there goes about 2 cups of grated mozzarella. Always fresh. Always fresh. Spray your pans down. I've got enough for basically 2, or call it 1 3/4 pans. Lay them in there. Make sure you spray them first so they'll release when you cut them. Disperse it evenly. Don't put it to the very top. Leave about 1/8 of an inch. Thank you. Oh, that's pretty. They're so pretty. Into a preheated 375-degree oven for about 25 minutes. On to stage 2 of the sausage fest. That's right. Our potatoes are boiled and cooled. Gnocchi. One of my top 10 most passionate foods of all time. Those little delicious pillows from Italy. We're going to use that same exact sausage blend for the stuffing. We've got an egg, we've got potatoes, we've got sour cream, we've got flour, and of course, a mess of basil. But before we get started, out comes our baked ziti with that Italian Calabrian sausage stuffing. One more topping of fresh basil. Holy cow. Yeah, I'm not going to show me eating this because I already know it's dead on balls perfect. Let's get the rest of that basil chop because that's going to get used. We have riced our potatoes on the smallest setting so they're nice and fluffy. In goes that remaining basil. In goes just about a teaspoon of garlic, freshly minced. Do not be scared on the salt and pepper. Season at every level. In goes that one egg with a teaspoon of water whipped. Quarter cup of sour cream. We're ready to go ahead and mix this up. Make it nice and moist. And now it's time to add our flour and get our consistency correct. Little at a time. If you add it all at once, and for some reason it's not right, you're going to have gummy, chewy dumplings. And we want these things fluffy. And just a quick PSA in the words of Barney Fife. You got to nip it, Andy, nip it! Alright, let's get our wet mix into some flour. Make sure you have plenty of flour on hand because 1 cup keeps it together, but all the flour on the board and the extra flour you add will actually determine what the consistency of these are going to be. So listen, try not to make it too dry because that'll just give you gummy, chewy gnocchis. Okay, you want a little bit of wet. You want it to be just a tad sticky, but not to the point where you can't peel it off of the board. So it's all about feel. At this point, you got to figure it out. I can't make you do it. Maybe I can, but here's one of the tips. If you push down and it pushes back just a little bit, you're there. We will cut these into 4s, moderately if not fairly evenly. Thank you. What we'll do is use 2 and freeze 2, because trust me, once it thaws out, you can do it again, which we will in some different form. All right, more flour. Make sure you have plenty of flour on the board, and you begin to form them, shape them, and start rolling them out. A little bit of pressure from the middle to the edges. Use your fingers, press and roll, press and roll. Out they come. Make yourself a giant cigar if you want to refer to it as that. We're there. There's the first one. I'm going to cut that in half, and now we'll start portioning. Make them as big or as small as you want. The beautiful thing about gnocchi is there's no actual, call it a rule on regulation size. None of them are going to be uniform, so just have fun with it. Get crazy with it. All right, there they are. I like to go ahead and put a little fork indentation. Some people like to do a crosshatch with the fork. This works just fine for me. There they are. 2 doughs produced 50 gnocchis. Now, on the back burner, we forgot about this. Brown butter. We laid that down. We had that going. Slowly but surely cooking all the solids, okay? Again, heavily, and I mean heavily salted water. In goes half of those gnocchis. Once they're on the float, you put them on the boat, baby. Word! I just made that up, right on the cuff, like literally just now. Am I fresh? Dope! All right, we've pulled that first batch. While they're hot, maybe about a half a teaspoon of olive oil, just to keep them from sticking together, because trust me, that sucks. All right, round 2 is complete. Rinse and repeat. Oh, another rhyme. I'm so fucking gangster. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and get the gnocchis in the hot virgin olive oil. Now, medium-high heat, not too high. Go low and slow on medium-high. Add a little bit of fresh garlic for the aroma. But as we slowly sit and move, toss them, turn them, flip them, you see a beautiful light brown crust starting to develop. We're on track. And now we add that beautiful sausage and peppers mix. Oh my goodness. Are you starting to see how good and delicious this is going to taste? We're going to infuse that gnocchi with that mix. Yes, we are. Wonderful. Keep it moving. Still browning. Nice crispy crust on the outside. Here we go. Next step. Are you ready for this? Half a cup of that brown butter. Not even kidding. We're going to produce a brown butter tomato dressing for this. First and foremost, we do a cup of slurry, which is 1 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch or rice flour. Going to thicken that up a tad, and here comes our red sauce. just to finish it off and balance it out. It's really going to make it more of a sauce, like a nice bolognese, perhaps. But this is going to be titanic. All right, last but not least, of course, with all that heaviness, we need acid. There goes the juice of 1 whole lemon, and now we plate. You don't need too much, folks. This is rich. I would say probably 2 to 3 scoops. We're done. Top it with the obligatory grated Parmesan cheese. And of course, my favorite, the fresh basil. Let's get into this. Let's see what the big dumb animal thinks. He's using a spoon. That's a good idea, because it's more like a stew now. Let's go ahead. Oh yeah, that's good and blazing hot. So we'll get that cooled, and let's see what he thinks. I can tell you right now, he thinks, wow, this is delicious. I can't believe how crispy the edges are in that gnocchi, but how poofy and soft they are in the middle. And
That's good.
hearty. Yeah, very hearty.